Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are transporting ourselves down under. It is Saturday, January 17th, 2026, and if you listen closely, you can almost hear the sneakers squeaking on those blue hard courts.
It's the best time of the year, isn't it? The Australian Open kicks off tomorrow. The sun is just baking the courts. The atmosphere is electric.
It really is.
Wow.
But before we get into the draws and the betting lines, and we have some pretty wild numbers to talk about, I want to zoom out for a second.
Okay.
If you've been following tennis, even just casually, you know the whole landscape has shifted. We're not just watching a new generation emerge anymore. We're firmly living in the Sinkaraz era.
I love that name, Sinkaraz. It sounds like a comic book villain or something.
It kind of does.
It's actually just the most dominant force in sports right now.
It's wild when you look at the raw numbers. Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz have shared the last 8 Grand Slam titles.
8. Between them.
For 2 full years, they've just locked everyone else out.
It's a total duopoly. You know, we used to talk about the big 3, but even then, you'd have an Andy Murray or a Stan Wawrinka sneak one in there. Right now, it feels like the big 2, and then a huge, huge gap.
So the mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. We've combed through the draw breakdowns from Tennis Nerd. We've looked at the injury reports, which are surprisingly scary this year, and the sharpest betting insights from Crush and Rush News.
And we're going to try and answer one main question, right?
Exactly. Is this tournament a foregone conclusion?
Or is there some chaos lurking in those brackets? Because let me tell you, when you dig into the health of the, let's call it the old guard, things get very interesting.
Okay, so where do we start? It has to be with the favorites.
Has to be. The guys with the targets on their backs.
Let's start with the favorite, Jannik Sinner. He's the 2-time defending champion. He's going for a 3rd straight Australian Open, which is, that's incredibly rare territory.
It is. And the word that keeps coming up in every report, from the blogs to the deep analytics, is metronomic.
Metronomic.
Okay.
So he's just keeping a beat.
Exactly. A relentless rhythm. Even when Sinner isn't playing his best, what he might call garbage level, like we saw a bit at the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
He is just so efficient. He doesn't get dragged into those messy 4-hour slugfests.
He just solves the problem and moves on.
He does. In fact, the betting analysts at Crush and Rush have a specific nickname for him because of it.
Oh, yeah.
They call him the Under Machine.
The Under Machine. Okay, so for those of you who maybe don't spend all your time on DraftKings, break that down for us.
So in tennis betting, you can bet on the over-under for total games in a match. Because Sinner wins so cleanly, 6-2, 6-3, 6-2, the matches don't last long.
So he always hits the under.
He's a nightmare for TV advertisers, but a dream for bettors. He doesn't play with his food.
Gets in, gets the job done, gets out. And looking at his draw, it seems like the tennis gods want him to save energy too.
It's a superb draw. He opens against Hugo Gaston, fun player, lots of drop shots, but Sinner should just overpower him. There was some buzz about a potential 3rd-round clash against that young Brazilian João Fonseca.
Oh, the teenager everyone's calling the next big thing. That would have been a great watch.
It would have been, but, Tennis Nerd points out that Fonseca is dealing with a back injury. He's already pulled out of 2 tournaments, so realistically, Sinner's path to the second week looks like a highway with no traffic.
And the actual court conditions in Melbourne suit him perfectly.
Sam Stosur and Todd Woodbridge were talking about this. Sinner loves the bounce height on these courts, and this is crucial. His team is stable. He's still got Darren Cahill. That stability is a massive asset.
Especially when you compare it to the other guy.
Exactly. When you compare it to Carlos Alcaraz.
Which brings us to the other half of the Sinkaraz monster.
Yeah.
Alcaraz. He's chasing the career Grand Slam here.
Youngest man in history to do it if he pulls it off.
But there is a massive X factor in his camp this year, isn't there?
There is. And honestly, this is the biggest story of the offseason. Alcaraz split with his long-term coach, Juan Carlos Ferrero.
That just feels seismic. Ferrero wasn't just a coach. He was like a father figure to him on tour.
Precisely. He was the calm voice in the box. And you look at experts like Wally Masur, and they're genuinely worried. We know Alcaraz has the magic, but Sinner has that relentless consistency.
So the worry is, without Ferrero, can he navigate those really high-pressure moments?
Or does he spiral when the plan goes wrong? That's a huge question mark.
It's interesting you mentioned that because the betting insights on him are the total opposite of Sinner.
Right. If Sinner is the under machine,
Alcaraz is the sleepwalker.
The sleepwalker. He has this habit of starting tournaments slowly. He might drop a goofy set in the first round while he's, finding his rhythm.
Trying to hit the highlight reel a bit too early.
Exactly. Crush and Rush News actually suggests looking at overs or betting on 3-1 scorelines for him early on. He eventually wakes up and destroys people, but he likes to make it interesting in week 1.
Okay, so we have the two young kings, one machine, one magician without his mentor. But we can't talk about the Australian Open without talking about the King of Melbourne.
Novak Djokovic.
Or, I guess, the panic surrounding Novak Djokovic.
That's probably more accurate, yeah.
We saw a report from Sports Illustrated that it stopped me in my tracks. Walk us through this. This wasn't a rumor.
No, this was a specific incident. So Djokovic is the number 4 seed. He's 38 years old now. He went out for a scheduled practice on Rod Laver Arena, steps onto the court, and he lasts 12 minutes.
12 minutes? That's not a practice session. That's a warm-up.
It's barely a stretch. She cut it short. Severe neck pain. And it gets worse.
How?
Before that, he played a training set against Daniel Medvedev. He lost 7-5, which, whatever, it's practice. But the report said he looked winded, showed signs of excessive fatigue.
And that's terrifying for him because Djokovic's whole thing has always been his superhuman fitness.
He's the Iron Man. If he's gassed in practice, it feels like Father Time is finally here. He already pulled out of Adelaide. But, and this is the paradox, his draw is a gift.
The draw is good.
His draw in quarter 3 is a dream scenario for a guy who might be hurting.
Who's in his way?
His projected quarterfinal opponent is Taylor Fritz. Top 10 player, great player.
Okay, a real test.
You'd think so. But do you know their head-to-head record?
Oh, I'm scared to ask. It's bad, isn't it?
It is 11-0 for Djokovic.
11-0. Wow. That's not a rivalry. That's a psychological block.
It really is. So you have Flash Score predicting he makes the semis purely on muscle memory. He doesn't have to be at 100%. But then you have tennis nerds saying, Alcaraz beats him in the final. They think he has one last push.
It's the ultimate head versus heart debate.
Can a broken-down Djokovic beat a healthy field just because he's Djokovic?
That is the storyline I am glued to. Okay, let's move away from the big names and look at the chaos elsewhere. Not everyone got a nice draw.
Alex de Minaur.
Oh, man, poor guy. They're calling it the De Minaur Gauntlet. He's the number 6 seed, he's the home favorite, and his path is just a nightmare.
Who does he have to get through?
Okay, get ready. Round 1, Matteo Berrettini.
A Wimbledon finalist in round 1. That's brutal.
It is. If he survives that, he probably gets Hamad Medjedovic, who hits a huge ball.
Yeah.
Then Francis Tiafoe, then Alexander Bublik.
There are no breathers there.
Yeah.
That's just heavy hitter after heavy hitter.
None. And the analysts at Tennis Nerd, they actually expect him to fall early. They're tipping Bublik to be the one to come out of that section and face Alcaraz.
Bublik in a quarterfinal. That would be something.
It would. And speaking of value picks, if you're looking for someone outside the top 2 who could maybe make a deep run, everyone is pointing to quarter 2.
That's the Zverev and Medvedev quarter.
Right. Zverev is the 3 seed, but he has a tough start. But Medvedev, he slipped to the 11th seed, but he is finding form. He won in Almaty, deep run in Paris.
And the betting sources like his chances.
Crush and Rush News loves him at plus 3,000 odds. They see him as the best value long shot. And the key is the matchup. If he meets Zverev in the quarters, Medvedev has beaten him in 6 of their last 7 matches.
So he just owns that matchup.
He lives inside Zverev's head. So the prediction is Medvedev comes out of that quarter.
Before we move on, I saw a quick note about Felix Auger-Aliassime in that section.
Yeah, the advice there is pretty simple. Fade him.
Fade him. So bet against him.
Bet against him when he's favored, yeah. He really struggles to close out big matches at slams, and the data just doesn't trust him to hold a lead.
Got it. Okay, quarter 4. Sinner is there, but who is the chaos agent lurking in his section?
Ben Shelton.
I love watching him play. The energy is just off the charts.
He's the number 8 seed. He loves the big stage, made the semis here in 2025. Now, statistically, Sinner owns him. The head-to-head is 8-1.
So it shouldn't be a problem.
It shouldn't be. But Shelton provides that popcorn match potential. If anyone can disrupt Sinner's perfect rhythm with just pure power and noise and swagger, it's Shelton.
He's the ultimate disruptor.
Exactly. You can't look away when he's on court.
Okay, I want to take a quick detour here into our Nerd Minute. You pulled an academic paper from ArtCiv about something called performance ratings.
Yes. Stick with us here because this actually changes how you think about dominance.
So the problem with normal stats is they struggle with perfection.
Right. Think of it like a video game. If you get the max score of 100 playing on easy and I get 100 playing on the boss level, the score looks the same, but the achievement is totally different.
Because you never lose a set, The math can't calculate how much better you could have been. You hit the ceiling.
Exactly. This Purée system factors in the quality of the opposition. And the big takeaway is about Alcaraz's Wimbledon win in 2023. His PRR was 24.78.
Is that good?
It's historically insane. It was mathematically higher than Djokovic's dominant 2023 Australian Open run. It proves Alcaraz didn't just win, he dismantled a significantly harder field. It puts a number on that feeling that some trophies just weigh more than others.
That is fascinating. It's not just about winning. It's about the road you took.
And how convincingly you walked it.
All right, let's pivot to the women's draw. We have power, history chasing, and some very interesting coaching changes. Aryna Sabalenka. Is she the center of the women's side right now?
In terms of being the clear favorite, absolutely. World number 1 just won Brisbane in dominant fashion. She's going for her third AO title in 4 years.
And the experts are all in on her.
Almost unanimously. Stosur, Dell'Acqua, Woodbridge, they all pick her. The fast courts are just perfect for her power game, and her draw is kind early on.
Okay, so she's the one to beat. Then we have Iga Swiatek, who's trying to complete the career Grand Slam, just like Alcaraz.
She is, but the vibe around her is totally different. Experts noted she seemed a bit uptight at the United Cup. She wasn't flowing, and her draw is brutal.
How bad?
She could face Naomi Osaka in the 4th round.
Oh, wow. A two-time champion here, that early.
Exactly. Even if Osaka isn't at her peak ranking, she knows how to win on that court. That is a terrifying 4th-round match for Swiatek.
And what about Coco Gauff? She's always in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw a note that she hired a new coach, but not a tennis coach.
No, she hired Gavin McMillan. He's a biomechanics specialist.
Biomechanics. What is he actually fixing?
It's all about the serve. We know Coco's serve, specifically the ball toss, has been her Achilles heel. It can go all over the place.
Right.
McMillan is the guy who rebuilt Aryna Sabalenka's serve a few years ago when she had the yips.
Oh, I remember that. She was double faulting like 20 times a match. And then suddenly she had this weapon.
That was McMillan. He strips the motion down to its physics. If he can do for Coco's serve what he did for Sabalenka's, that is a massive game changer for the entire tour.
That's a deep cut worth watching. Any dark horses we should keep an eye on?
Sam Stosur is really high on Amanda Anisimova. She calls her the real deal. If she's healthy, the talent is definitely there.
And anyone else?
Elena Rybakina. She loves hard courts. She's projected to meet Swiatek in the quarters, and with Swiatek's tough draw. I mean, that's a match where the upset alert would be flashing bright red.
Okay, so let's bring it all together. What's the final synthesis here?
Well, if we listen to the head, the logic, the stats, the smart money is on Jannik Sinner and Aryna Sabalenka. They love the conditions, they're healthy, their draws are good, they are the efficient choices.
But sports aren't just played in the head, are they?
No.
Yeah.
And the heart is looking for the story. The heart wants to see if a broken-down Djokovic has one last dance in him, or if Alcaraz can find that magic without his mentor and grab the career slam.
And it leaves us with a pretty heavy question. If Sinner and Alcaraz do lock out another slam, are we watching a duopoly that's actually more dominant than the Big Three era?
It's a scary thought. With the Big Three, you at least felt like guys like Murray or Del Potro could bridge the gap on a good day. Right now, the gap between the top two and everyone else feels like a canyon.
And if Alcaraz stumbles without Ferrero, does that duopoly collapse into a one-man show?
That is the multi-million-dollar question, isn't it? And we start getting answers tomorrow.
Well, we won't have to wait long. If you want immediate fireworks, the experts all say do not miss that Alex de Minaur versus Matteo Berrettini first-round match.
That is going to be a blockbuster. Get your popcorn ready.
Can't wait. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. Enjoy the tennis.
See you on the courts.